Okay, so yesterday we have started the topic of IAM, Identity Access Management. There I have explained the concept of user management, what is a user management, and what all things we can do with the help of user management. And user management basically involves user creation, user authentication, and user management in broader aspect, and how can the user management can be done on different platforms. So if it comes to Windows, we can do the user management with the help of Active Directory Service, and in LDAP, in Linux we have LDAP and PAM. And when it comes to AWS, the user management can be done with the help of service IAM. So IAM is a service by which we can create users and we give permission to them, and we can control the users, which IAM user is doing what. Most of the things that we have to cover in this particular IAM section is what is user, what are the different type of users we have, and what are the different groups we can create, how we can create groups, and how can we add a user to the group, and how can we add permission to the group, and then what are the different what is roles. We will cover roles today, and what are the policy documents. So as I told you in the earlier classes, we have basically two type of user. One is root user and another is IAM user. Root user is a user which get created once you create your account, and root user has complete privilege, or a root user has complete access to the AWS account. Root user can create other type of user like admin user, power user, and normal user. And admin use generally root user is not used for anything. It is used for billing purpose. Ideally, what we do is we basically create a user. We assign admin policy document to the user and let the admin user manage the AWS account. And then we have power user, and then we have normal user. For better management of IAM users, or to manage large number of users, we create a group and we add a user to the group, and we assign the policy document to the group basically. This is the diagram that I have shown you yesterday and explained how user authentication and user creation happens, how a user get a access in AWS environment. So whenever you create a user, you assign a policy document to the user. Depending upon the type of policy document you assign to the user will get access to the portal. Okay. If we are limiting a user with particular service, he will access the particular service as well. Similarly, we have explained the concept of policy documents. So there are two types of policy documents that we can have. One is AWS managed policy document, which AWS provide, and there are 1,000+ policy documents. And there is something called as customer inline policy, which customer basically create depending upon the requirement. Coming to some of the best practices, what best practices we need to follow. So we are cloud admin, we are the administrators, we are the cloud admin, and it's our responsibility is to maintain the AWS account. Everything in AWS account need to be managed by us. We need to make sure that people should have limited access, no people should have extra access. We should not be giving access in friendly manner. Create individual users and don't assign permission to individual users, because if we assign permission to individual user, it will be tough managing. So what is the best possible situation is to create a group, add the user to the group, and assign the policy document to the group. Okay. Now, sometimes a user work from graphical and sometimes the user work from command line. If the user is willing to work from graphical, he need a URL, and this URL is same for all the user. All the IAM user will use the same URL, only the username and password changes irrespective. If a user willing to if the user is willing to work from command line, he need to generate access key and secret access key. Per user, we can create two access key and secret access key that we will learn in the next slide. So I believe we have done till 10th of the we have done till the 10th of the slide. Let's go forward and learn more about it. However, yesterday I have shown you how you can install AWS CLI. Did everyone manage to install AWS CLI in their system?
Yes, sir. I managed.
Anybody got any error?
No.
Okay. So we managed to install
But
AWS
sir, in
CLI.
my CMD, I saw that in your CMD, instead of that none, access key ID, I saw in my CMD it's none. Instead of that, you are showing 6 JJ08 something.
Come again, I didn't get you.
While I added that command AWS configure.
Mm-hmm.
So after that, in my CMD, it's showing access key ID in bracket. It's showing me none.
None means you have not added any of the access key.
Mm-hmm.
In my situation,
Okay.
there was some access key previously, and I am adding a new one. So
Okay.
it is showing the previous one, okay, and
All
it
right.
shows in truncated format.
Okay. Got it, sir. Thank you.
Hmm. So command line need to be installed. If you don't install AWS CLI command line, you will not able to run any of the AWS command. In order to run AWS command, you need to have AWS CLI installed on your system. Okay. Now, I shown you how to check the AWS CLI version. So right now, if you see AWS CLI version, so AWS CLI version which is available on my system is 2.2.47, and AWS CLI requires Python as well, Python 3.8.0. And how you configure access key and secret access key with the help of the command AWS configure. And AWS configure list is a command that will help you to list or view. If you want to see any access key or secret access key is there or not, you can run the command AWS configure list. Okay. And after you have your access key and secret access key in place, you can create a user from CLI as well. So adding access key and secret access key does not give a guarantee that a user will get created. It depends upon what is the policy document you have applied to the access key and secret access key. Mhm. Now, so let's have a look to this PPT. What all things we have learned over here. This the we will first we will make all the points to red. Okay, we will make all the points to red, and we will mark every point green once we will understand. The first point is IAM is universal, it's not region specific. What does it means? It means it means it means uh one sec. It means if you click here, if you go to IAM page, what you will see, one second, let me log into my AWS account. So when you log into your once once you once you log into your AWS account, you will see when you will come to IAM service, it will show you global. It means if you creating a user, the user is valid across all the regions. Okay. But when it comes to EC2, you have to create a EC2 in a particular region. It means If you are creating a virtual server, if you are creating a virtual server in Mumbai region, if you are creating a virtual server in Mumbai region, okay, right now you can see I have selected Mumbai region. So if you create a server in Mumbai region, the server will only be available in Mumbai region. So if you change the region, let's suppose if I'm changing from Mumbai to Hyderabad, the server will not be visible. What it means? It means some of the services are region specific. Okay, some of the services are region specific. So EC2 is a one of the service which is region specific, and there are other services also which are region specific. So the depend the visibility of the service. Let me show it to you like this. So there is something called as global. There is something called as global. Okay, there is something called as global. Some of the services are global and some of the services are region specific. What does it means?
Availability of the service will be only specific to region and not global. If it is to एक region दूसरे region में आप access नहीं कर सकते उस case में.
Hemant, your voice is breaking. So there is something called as a global service. There is something called as global, and there is something called region specific. There is something called region specific. Okay, region specific. What it means? Ki, this is a list of services. This is list of services. This is list of services. So if we go and talk about IAM, IAM is a service which is global. It means global means what? It is visible to all the region. But when you go to EC2 service, EC2 service is a region specific. You need to specify the service in a particular region. And if you are creating a service if you are creating, if you are creating, if you are creating, if you are creating a EC2, if you are creating a EC2 in Mumbai region, in Mumbai region, that will be visible, that will be, that will be visible only in, only in Mumbai region. If I talk about some other services like S3, so S3 is a global service. If we talk about another service, let's suppose VPC. So VPC is a service which is used for networking related purpose. If you want to implement networking in AWS, you have to learn the service VPC. If you want a storage, if you want a storage in AWS, you have to learn the service S3. If you want virtual server, if you want to have virtual server, you have to go and learn the service called EC2. And if you want to manage user, if you want to perform user management, you have to learn the service IAM. So IAM is a global service. It means if you are creating anything, if you are creating anything, wait a minute. So what it means, if you are creating anything in, if you are creating anything in global, it will be visible to everyone. Okay, visible means if you if it is a if a resource is global, it will be visible all the region. Visible to all the region. Make sense to everyone? Make sense to everyone?
Yes, but sir, how
Yes.
can we know that these services are globally and these are region specific?
Oh, slowly and gradually, once you study now, so that time you will, once you are in the class, you will slowly understand कौन सी service global है, कौन सी service visible local है, region है, ठीक है?
Okay,
हाँ.
got it.
So now let's get forward. Let's get moving. Yeah. So first line is saying about that it is a global service. Okay, it is a global service and it is not a global या universal बोल सकते हो उसको. Global you call it or you call it universal. It is not related to any reason. The root account is the account created when you set up your account and it has complete admin access. I think everyone understand this. New user have no permission when created, similar in the case of group. So when you create a user, initially the user don't have permission. You have to assign permission to the user by attaching the policy document. Okay? We assign permission to user groups and role by attaching policy document. So if there is a user or if there is a group, so what does it means? What does it signifies? So if it is a user, if it is a IAM user, and if is a IAM user, and two IAM user makes a group, okay? Two IAM user is a group, okay? And one IAM user is a single user. So this is a IAM user, and this is a group. This is a group. Now you can attach policy document to a individual user, but we should not be doing this. And we can attach policy document. We can attach policy document to a group. Even the case is कि we can attach multiple policy document to a group, or we can attach multiple policy document to a user. ठीक है? So policy document we can attach. There is one more concept that is called as role. So there is a concept called as role. I will teach you that concept today itself. This is called role. So we can attach policy document to a role also. So we can have this policy document. We can attach policy document to a role. We can attach this policy document to a role, and multiple policy document can be attached to a role. Okay. So what I mean to say here, कि we can attach. So the thing is, we can attach multiple policy document to a user group or role. Now, if when you create a user, you assign particular policy document to a user, and if the user wants to work, from GUI, he need URL, username, and password. If a user wants to work from CLI, what he need? If the user wants to work from CLI, he need
Access key and
access key and secret
access key.
access key. Okay. Now, so once you have access key and secret access key, you can configure your access key and secret access key on your system. When you configure your access key and secret access key, so for configuring the access key and secret access key, there is a command called AWS configure. AWS configure. If you want to list which access keys are there, so AWS configure list is the command. If you want to see which user access key is there, so you can use AWS get caller, AWS STS get caller ID, AWS STS caller ID. ठीक है? In order to run AWS command in your system, you need to install what? ठीक है? Okay, correct?
Right.
कोई doubt, कोई question?
No, sir.
Okay. So this is your AWS platform. This is your AWS. This is your AWS. Is AWS पे if I am attaching, let's suppose if I am attaching EC2 policy document to this user, so this user can this user can access which service? Okay. If I am attaching, let's suppose VPC policy document to this group, so both the IAM user will have access to, both the IAM user in this group will have access to, all the people in this group will have access to which service?
VPC.
AWS VPC. Now, so role is what? Role is what? Role, I will come on the role. Okay, let leave it right now. First complete this one and then we will go. So did you understand this point as well?
Yes, sir.
Okay. New user are assigned access key and secret access key if they want to work from command line. I hope this also makes sense to everyone.
Yes.
Okay. Access key and secret access key will be used via AWS CLI or API. So in what situation you will be using access key and secret access key? If you are willing to work from AWS CLI, then only. So maximum how many access key and secret access key can be created per user?
2.
Maximum per user, how many access key and secret access key you can do it? 2.
2.
So how? Let's go here. Let's pick any user. Let's pick any user. Let's go to the user section. Let's pick any user, random any user we will pick. Let's pick the Raj. Let's go to the Raj. And let's go to the Raj. And Raj has a security credential. And then Raj has 0 access key. So click on create access key. I am creating access key for Raj. So 1 access key has been created, done. Okay. Now I can create only one more, create access key. If I go create access key, click on the next and then create access key. So I can have maximum 2 access key created, I can maximum create 2 access key for a user. So for this user Raj, how many access key I have created? 2 access key. After that, what it happened?
The option is grayed out.
Yes, option is grayed out. Now, in case if your user as a admin, you need to make sure if your user is going on leave, you should mark his access key and secret access key as deactivated. Or you should teach your employees, you should teach your IAM users that in case if you are going for a leave, you should deactivate it. Okay, so that unwanted use should be prevented. So this message need to be passed from cloud admin, because the people who will be coming to AWS platform, it does not mean that they are fully educated. So you need to pass this message that in case if you are going for a long leave or XYZ, you can deactivate, and once you can come, you can activate your access key and secret access key. Okay, now if in case, okay, now I'm going to do what? I'm going to delete this access key and secret access key. Okay, so copying this. So in order to delete it, first I have to deactivate, and then I have to specify the name of the access key and then mark it delete. So one more thing happen is key, if you lose the password, if you lose the, let's suppose what I'm trying to say here, key, if you have created a access key, okay, if you have created a access key for a user, and in case if you didn't store the secret access key, so if you have access key and there is a secret access key, so if you have not stored it correctly, if you are not storing your secret access key, in that situation what will happen, you will not able to retrieve the secret access key anymore. तो अगर आप अपने सीक्रेट एक्सेस की को अच्छे से स्टोर नहीं करेंगे तो यू कैनॉट रिट्रीव इट बैक. Okay, the only left option is to delete your access key and then create a new one. So there is no reset or there is no retrieval of secret access key. Getting my point?
Yes.
Does this make sense to everyone?
Yes. Okay.
So you cannot retrieve back. So you need to make sure that access key and secret access key are stored. So maximum 2 access key, secret access key can be accessed per user. You can deactivate the access key if you are not using, and you can activate the same if it is required. In case if you forget your secret access key, you have to regenerate. There is no option. Okay. Now, there is something called as always set up multi-factor authentication for your root account and normal user. What is multi-factor authentication? So multi-factor authentication means right now, when you log into AWS, let me log out and let me show you. So I had logged out. Okay. So from I have logged out. Now I will go to sign into console. So when I am going to log into AWS, AWS asked me whether you want to log in as root user or where you want to log in as IAM user. So if you want to log in as root user or if you want to log in with IAM user, you have to make sure that username and password is not only the mandatory. So I'm putting the username and then I am putting the password. So after username and password, a multi-factor authentication code will come to my phone and I have to provide that multi-factor authentication in my from my mobile, and I have to submit then only. So in order to log into AWS account, if you are going to log into AWS account, what you need? If you are logging to AWS account, you need what? So if a user,
Multi-factor authentication.
so if a user is having a username and password, so and if he wants to log into AWS account from AWS console, so he will put the username, and he will put the password. So earlier username and password, when you used to put username and password, if it is correct, it will allow you login. Okay, login to AWS. But right now you need one more parameter, that is MFA. You need to implement MFA. MFA is multi-factor authentication. So how you will do it? Okay, so I will show you. So where is your root user? This is your root user, right? Click on the root user and go to the security credential of the root user. So root user is here. So this is the root user, this is the root user name, and this is the account ID, and there is a multi-factor authentication enable. So what is multi-factor authentication? For enabling multi-factor authentication, you need to have one app. You need to download one app. This is called Google Authenticator. Most of the people might be using in their offices. So you need to open a app, install a app called Google Authenticator in your mobile phone. And from this app, you log in here. So you log in here and you have to assign a MFA. For me, it is there, but I will show you how to assign a MFA. So you have to assign MFA, you have to give any name. Let's suppose I want to put hello, just sign like this. And then you have to use your MFA device. So you have to use Authenticator app. You have to click Authenticator app, click on the next, and then what will happen? A QR code will be visible on your screen, and you need to open Google Authenticator in your mobile, and from that Google Authenticator you need to scan this. You need to scan this. You need to scan this, and two code will come. You have to put that two code, and then you have to click on add MFA. So this is important. Okay. Earlier this was not important, but nowadays AWS has made it mandatory that you need to set up multi-factor authentication in your AWS account. Make sense? Make
Yes.
sense?
Yes,
Yes.
Yeah.
yes.
Now, sometimes what happen, if you are working somewhere, and let's suppose you went to the office and you left your mobile, or if your mobile is stolen, because code will come in your mobile, right? Code will come in your mobile, right? Hmm?
Yes.
So in that situation, what you will do? In that situation, what you will do? You should you should take a screenshot of this, and you should take a screenshot of this. You can take a screenshot of this, and you can take a screenshot of this, and keep it in your email or anywhere saved. So in case if you lose your mobile, you can again scan this code from any other mobile, and can use it. Getting my point?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
So, Satyam, I have one question.
Hmm.
In multi-factor authentication, there are other options also there, right? System authentication and all. The first option. The,
So there is an option for selecting a MFA device, but
hmm,
hardware device will cost you, and we don't have budget for that. You might have seen
okay.
most of the people in the companies, they were using these kind of devices. So we don't have money to buy these kind of devices. That is why we are going with Google Authenticator. So Google Authenticator will also give you code. It will generate code like this. Can you see the screen? So it will
Hmm.
generate the code like this, and this particular code need to be put in place while you are logging.
Yeah, understood. But just now I created multi-factor authentication. Okay, before you teach us. But I use system password. I mean,
Which is the
any the first option is there, right? This one,
Okay, so
passkey or
there
security.
is something called as authenticate using fingerprint. If your laptop has fingerprint option, or if your laptop has face screen, you can use that also. Create a pass key on your device or another device like. So this option is also possible, but generally we teach this option. You can choose this. It's up to you, whatever facility you have.
Okay. So my question is, let's
Hmm.
say I use first option. I give my system password because it is asking device passkey, whatever we are using to
Hmm.
log into device. So
Hmm.
let's say I'm logging with the different device. Then in that case, how it will work?
It will not allow you to log in. It will
Okay.
restrict you to use that particular system only.
So that's why we need Google Authenticate. Okay. So let's say I use this one. How I can change it back to Authenticator app?
So you go to security credential, you delete the previous one, you have the option to remove it, and you have option to reassign, you have to assign it back.
Okay. Okay. Good.
Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So multi-factor authentication for root is 100% mandatory, and for IAM user also it's mandatory. So if you want any IAM user to have multi-factor authentication, what you need to do, you need to assign the user a policy. So unless and until if you don't assign a policy to a user, the user will not able to do a multi-factor authentication by itself. So you can see couple of policies are there to the user. I will remove this policy because remove this policy if I want, I can remove this policy. I will add a simple policy to the user. I will attach a simple policy to the user. Let's suppose EC2 full access or EC2 read only. I can give EC2 read only also. So he will only able to read the server. He will only able to list the information, will not able to create a server. So I am adding a read only. Now, similarly, I have to add a permission so that this user can change his IA, that is called as multi-factor authentication. Mm, there is a policy MFA. mm, Virtual MFA. There is a list virtual MFA. There is a policy that will be virtual. We need to search with virtual. Okay, let me see by creating a new user what happens. So let's go to the user section. Try to create a new user. Give a new user name like Satyam demo. And select this when you want the user to access graphical. I want to create a IAM user. The password has to be auto generated, and uncheck this option and click on next, assign permission. While assigning permission, we have to see while assigning permission, next administrator access. We'll click on the new create user. Okay, so user got created. We need to download this detail. Let's go to the view user. I am going to view the user now. Uh, let's go to the group. The user is not added to any group. There is no tagging. There is no security credential, multi-factor authentication, access key, credential for key spaces, X509 certificates, nothing, access. So there is some permission which need to be added to the user. Then only the user will able to enable multi-factor authentication for himself. So add a permission, go to attach policy, and I'm not sure of the name. We need to find it. Name of the policy, multi-factor. Let me search with multi-factor. MULT. Okay, so I need to check a little bit more. Okay, so there is no particular policy. You need to create a custom policy by yourself. Okay, and that policy need to be added. Okay, so you need to create a custom policy for that user. Okay, there is no AWS managed policy. So here is what is saying, as a DevOps engineer or a cloud engineer, you can enforce MFA for all IAM user within your organization by creating a customized IAM policy. This policy, when attached to a group or user, ensure that the control access is only granted if MFA is enabled. Below is the example of such policy. Did this make sense? So if how can you do that? So copy this permission, copy this policy from here, go to here, and I want to attach a policy. Okay, so where is the user? So this is my user, right? Now I want to add a permission and I want to create an inline permission. Go to inline permission and go to JSON. And here you just remove this out, paste it what you got it, and then click on the next. Okay, now add this. So add MFA is the name of the policy that I want to give, or name of the policy is going to be MFA. Okay, this is the policy that I am going to create. So right now I got a policy created and the policy is attached to this particular user. And now when this user will log in, so it will enforce the user to set up a MFA. Getting my point?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay,
yes, yes.
so like this it is. So right now, what is the problem? So we are not yet matured in AWS that much that we start using the inline policies. So inline policies are little advanced and this require more knowledge of AWS. Then only you can understand and you can start working with inline policies. Okay, like this it is. So I am just I hope you have understood. Everyone need to apply MFA for root. Now, you can create and customize your own password rotation policy. What does this mean? Password rotation policy, it means if you come here, there's an account setting. Now here, there is something called as password policy. As an admin, you can make sure that for your employers, for all the IAM user, how much password they should set. If you change 10 over here, everyone need to have a password with 10 characters and you can select whatever you want from here. These options are pretty much important. There is something called as turn on password expiration. So if I am going to put 60, what does it means? So any IAM user who got a new password, his password will automatically expires in next
60 days.
60 days. Password expiration require a admin reset. So if password is expired, admin need to reset. So we generally we don't tick this option. Otherwise, everyone will come to us and we will get busy with unnecessary thing. So we let the user to reset his own password. Okay, like this it is. How generally happens. So admins does not reset IAM user password. Users are supposed to do that. There is something called as allow user to change their own password. So this option need to be there. If this option is not there, prevent password reuse. So prevent password reuse, you must be knowing. So if you are using the same password, so you cannot use the last three password. Generally, this happens in banks. So if you try to set a new password which you have used last three times, it will not let you use that. So it remembers the last three password. Is that make sense to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool. Did everyone mark the attendance? No. So we have one absentee. Who is that? Ajay. Okay. Who is a smile only here? Can you please change your name there so it will be visible? Who is a smile only? Okay, did we understand this?
Yes.
Okay. Any questions? No. So, okay, cool. Now, next go forward. Okay. So what is it is recommended? So recommendation is key for admin user, never create access key and secret access key for admin user. So I have created this. Okay, I have created this 7 days back. So I want to delete it. So actually, as per AWS, as per the best practices, you are not supposed to create access key and secret access key of a root user. I am dealing with root user. So when I will try to create a access key and secret access key of root user, it will say कि we don't recommend you to create a root user access key because you cannot specify the root user in permission policy. You cannot limit it permission, which is the best practice. Instead, alternative is that create a IAM role or a user in identity center which provide temporary rather than long-term credential. If you case require, create a IAM user and with the access key and apply list privileges for that. So it's saying ki never ever in a situation create access key and secret access key. What I am doing is wrong. Now, if any hacker will see it, if any hacker will have this and this, he can use my AWS account to run his business. Okay, so what he will do, there are a lot of Chinese hacker available. If you accidentally upload your access key and secret access key on internet, in 5 minutes your account will get hacked. Okay, so these Chinese hackers, they keep on scanning the AWS account access key and secret access key, and if they found it, they will use your access key and secret access key, and they will create 200 servers in your AWS account, and the bill need to be paid by you. So they will run 200 300 servers in your AWS account, and they run their task in your account, and for free of cost. So you are responsible for your access key and secret access key. In none of the situation you are going to share this to anyone. So I have created it and I will delete it right now. So in never ever share access key and secret access key with anyone. Access key and secret access key are nothing, it's a kind of username and password. Okay, so never ever do this. Okay, is that clear to everyone? If you are doing mistakes, you are responsible. Again, I'm saying you have to always check your AWS account for billing, how much bills is accumulating. You have to create a budget alarm. I have taught that budget alarm also in our class. If you have not created it, don't take it lightly. If your bill come, you have to pay. Okay, I cannot do anything in that. If you are not using the server, delete it. If you are not using access key, secret access key, delete it. If you are temporarily using any access key, secret access key, deactivate it. So you need to learn how to manage your AWS account, because you will be teaching someone someday within your organization how to perform safe practice. Okay, is that clear to everyone?
Yes.
Sure. So never ever create access key and secret access key root account. Okay, we have completed these all things yesterday. And yeah, now we will be coming to the last thing, that is called IAM roles. What is the use of roles? Okay, let's get started with the roles, guys. So I hope everyone must have completed their Linux part 1 and part 2 and roadmap video, and AWS demo recording also. Okay. If not, I will again give the link to you in the group chat. So Linux part 1 and part 2 need to be revised once or twice. Okay, once or twice. Next weekend we have off. Okay, we don't have class on 28 and 29. I have plans to go out. I believe you will have as well. So next weekend we don't have class, but this time is not for free. You have couple of things to cover. So everyone need to be completing their IAM part 1, part 2. Okay, sorry, day 1 and day 2, yesterday and today recording, Linux stuff, and roadmap, plus you will be doing what I say, your demo, IAM demo. There is the AWS demo video as well. That will also give you a lot of information about AWS. So those things need to be completed. There are in this particular time frame. चलिए, so everyone must be to the schools, right? Everyone must be in schools, right? So in our school, there is a role, right? in there is a role. What is the name of the role in our class?
Monitor.
Monitor.
Monitor. Monitor is a role, right? Monitor is nothing. Monitor is a role. And if we attach this role to any student, so that student gets some power. What kind of power? What kind of power a normal student can get? As a monitor, what kind of power you get?
I can report any incident happened in the class to the class teacher.
Yes. So you can basically you can take attendance, you can collect money for Teachers' Day, you can collect right. This is what used to happen. You can distribute the exam results, you can distribute the exam copies, you collect the homeworks, you bring stick to the class, right? So
Hmm.
as a monitor, you have certain privileges. So the monitor role is not permanent also. So in a year, sometimes monitor change also, right? You might have seen monitor changing in your class as well, and many of you might be monitor some point in time. Am I correct or not?
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So this role is kind of temporary. The first is we need to understand it's a temporary what? Temporary.
Privilege.
It is a temporary, okay, privilege. Privilege. Mind the spelling. So it is a temporary privilege. Now, whom we are going to assign this role? So the role will be assigned. This role will be assigned. This role will be assigned to the role will be assigned to a user. We can assign a role to a user, and the user, we can assign a role to a IAM user, and this user, whenever he want, he can assume that role. He can assume the role. What he can do, he can assume the role. You can assign this role to a EC2 instance. You can assign this role to a EC2 instance. If you assign a role to a EC2 instance, if you assign a role to the EC2 instance, let's suppose this role got IAM policy document. This role got IAM policy document. Now, this role is attached to a instance. Once you log into a instance, you can execute AWS IAM commands. Till when? Till the time the role is attached to the instance, this instance got a power to work with IAM. Okay? Okay?
Yeah.
समझा थोड़ा? Okay, first thing first. So you can create a role and you can assign the role to a
I am user.
IAM.
I'm
IAM
user.
user. And you can assign, using the word assign. You can assign the role to a IAM user and you can attach the role to a instance. In both the cases, both the people will get a temporary access. So when you are attaching or assigning a role, so it means you are giving a temporary access to the user or to a instance so that he can perform the activity. So let's go and try to create a role. Okay, we will do slowly and gradually, everyone will understand. So this is the role. You will see I have 31 role and you will have less role because I have created multiple roles over a period of time. That is why. Okay. One more thing I want to do before I want to go to the roles. Go to the user and list the users which are not used. So last activity, list the user which are not required. So list the users which are not utilized, okay, from long days. So if the user is not utilized from long days, if you are not if you are not using the user for a longer period of time as a as a as a cloud admin, you make sure that these users should be deleted. So no unwanted user should be present in the system. Okay. So this is also a lesson to learn. So we should be deleting users which are inactive more than 90 days. So if any user is inactive, it means last activity. So this user was used 158 days back. So I will be deleting all those. Okay, now come to the role. Whatever point I am saying, each and every point need to be documented in your notebooks. Okay, हर points को आप अपने notebook में note कर लीजिए. Now let's go back. Create a role. Now, when you create a role, okay, when you create a role, you need to specify what is the use case of that particular role. The role will be used with AWS service, or the role is going to be used by AWS account. The role will be used by some web identity. The role will be used by SAML federation, or the role will be used by custom trust policy. In our case, we will be using the role, and the role we will be using for AWS services. So here we have planned to attach the role for EC2 instance. That's why we have selected EC2. And there in EC2 also there are various use cases, but we will select the default one. Click the next. Okay, now we need to add a role. So what I'm going to do, I am going to attach IAM full access to this particular role. I am going to attach IAM full access to this particular role. I am going next. I am going to give IAM admin ADIN admin role, and I am putting December 24. So this role can be used to any EC2 instance. Okay. And this role has IAM full access policy document. I will create a role. Okay. I will create the role. So now the role has been created. Now the role has been created. Now, so if you see, we got a role and we got a role ARN, and this role is IAM policy. Now what I'm going to do, I am going to create a instance EC2. I am going to create a EC2 instance here. I will create that instance in Mumbai region. Click on launch. Name we have to specify. Name is name that we have to specify here is, we can put anything, EC2 VM, something like this. We will be selecting Amazon Linux, and we will be selecting the latest AMI. This is Amazon Linux 2 AMI, and we will be selecting T2.micro. We will be using the key pair that we have created for this particular class. So I have already a key that I will be using here, and I am not doing anything now, simply going and creating the instance. So nothing fancy, a simple EC2 instance with Linux operating system I am creating. So AWS will take around 10 seconds to provision a EC2 instance for me. Now you can see the instance is running, the instance is in running state, and every instance has a unique instance ID. So this is something called instance ID. The type of instance is t2.micro, and the instance has been created in second data center of the Mumbai region. Okay. Now I want to connect this EC2 instance. For connecting this EC2 instance, I will use the public IP, and I will use a tool called Putty. Putty is a command line tool. Putty is a command line tool that need to be. So why I'm going here? Putty I have, right? So PUTTY. Yes. So Putty is basically a command line tool. We will use the Putty. So this is the command line tool which is used to connect to a remote Linux server. I have explained this in Linux recording as well, if I remember correctly. Click on SSH, click on auth, click on credentials, click on browse, and here I will select the key which I want to use. So you have to specify the key which you have used while creating the instance. Okay, so you have to specify the key which you want to use. You have to give the same key. Where is the key? Where is the key? Downloads. So this is the key that I have. I will click on open. So I am going to connect to a remote Linux server, and the username is ec2-user. Okay, everyone is visible. Everyone can see my screen.
Yes, yes.
Okay. राइट क्लिक करेंगे, थोड़ा सा इसका फॉन्ट चेंज करेंगे so that it will be visible to you guys in a better manner. Click OK, OK, apply. Now I will turn root sudo su hyphen. I hope you have understood this. Now पहले चेक करेंगे AWS CLI है क्या, AWS hyphen version. So once we will hit this, we will get to know कि okay, AWS CLI is already installed on this particular system. AWS configure we will see. AWS configure list we will do. We will get to know any access key or secret access key is there or not. So do we have access key and secret access key configured?
No.
No. Cool. Now we will be going to instance action. We will go to actions. We'll go to security and modify IAM role. So we are going to add a IAM role over here on a EC2. Do you see any IAM role over here? No, right? So I am going to security modify, and I am going to choose a IAM role from my list of IAM roles. So I will choose this IAM role, and I can click update IAM role. So I have attached a IAM role to this particular instance. Now you can see a IAM role has been attached to this particular instance. Since IAM role is attached, what I will do, I will do this command and I will hit enter. Now what I see is the earlier when there was no IAM role attached, it was showing none, none, none. Right now it is showing IAM role. Now let me do one thing. Let me AWS IAM create hyphen user hyphen user hyphen name hello world. Enter. So what is happening to here? I have created a role. Let's draw a diagram and let's everybody understand in detail. So what is happening over here? Okay. So I have created a role. So what I have done, carefully watch, take a look. I have created a role, this role. Okay. This role got IAM full access. This role, I have attached this role to I have attached this role to a EC2 machine. By attaching this role to EC2 machine, we are giving this machine privilege to run any AWS IAM command. And after that, when I ran AWS IAM create user, IAM create user, it worked. Okay? Now, I am going to remove the role. I am going to remove the role. Go to the action, go to the security, modify IAM role, and remove the role like no IAM role and update the IAM role. So you have to specify detach word. So write it and detach, click on detach. So now I am going to detach the role. When I am detaching, after detaching, I am going to run the same command AWS configure list. So what I see, when the role was attached, it was coming something like this. And when the role is no more, when the role is not attached, it is not doing. Now I want to create a user. So I want to create this user. What will happen?
Okay.
No user here.
What does this happen?
Saying you don't have access.
We have removed the role.
So removing the role means removing the permissions.
Yes.
And removing the permission does not let you,
Create new user.
yes, does not let you create a user. Now,
Yes.
okay, so what I see a new diagram. Okay, I can see a new diagram. Okay, let's draw a new diagram to just make mind little bit more strong. So in this new diagram, I have a IAM user, IAM user. I have a IAM user. So IAM user, I got IAM policy document. Okay. I got access key and secret access key of this user. I got a Linux machine. So now we will only be doing Linux. Okay. We will be doing only Linux VM. So you have option of configuring AWS configure when you do AWS configure, you can put your access key and secret access key also. What it will ask?
Yes, and secret access key.
तो अगर हम एक्सेस की सीक्रेट एक्सेस की दे देंगे और उसके बाद अगर हम ये कमांड रन करेंगे AWS IAM create hyphen user hyphen username hello world, काम करेगा नहीं करेगा?
करेगा ना, depend on policy.
करेगा.
What policy?
करेगा, ठीक है? Okay.
Yes.
So this is one method. Second method में मैं क्या बोल रहा हूँ कि मैं एक रोल बनाता हूँ. I create a role, and in this role I am going to attach IAM policy document to this role. I am going to attach this IAM policy to document to the role, and role, and this role I am attaching this role to this instance. तो मैंने रोल को क्या कर दिया? अटैच कर दिया. तो रोल अटैच करने के बाद भी तो मैं अगर ये कमांड रन करता हूं तो काम करेगा कि नहीं करेगा?
करेगा.
चलिए करके देखते हैं. तो अभी फिलहाल मैं क्या करूंगा, यहां पर AWS कॉन्फ़िगर लिस्ट करते हैं तो यहां दिखाएगा कुछ भी नहीं. AWS STS get हाइफन कॉलर हाइफन आईडी लेंगे तो कुछ नहीं दिखाएगा। AWS गेट कॉलर आइडेंटिटी, सॉरी,
Identity.
IDENIDENTITY। ओके, क्लियर। तो पहले हमने यहाँ रन कर दिया कॉलर आइडेंटिटी, AWS कॉन्फ़िगर लिस्ट, कुछ भी नहीं दिखा रहा है, ठीक है। नाउ रन AWS कॉन्फ़िगर एंड हिट इंटर, इट विल आस्क फॉर एक्सेस की एंड सीक्रेट एक्सेस की। तो कहने का मतलब है लेट्स हैव द एक्सेस की एंड सीक्रेट एक्सेस की। लेट्स गो टू ए यूजर। ओके, एक यूजर का एक्सेस की सीक्रेट एक्सेस की लेके आते हैं, ठीक है। राज को पकड़ते हैं, राज के पास कौन सा एक्सेस है देखते हैं। राज के पास है एडमिन एक्सेस। राज के पास क्या है? ओके, रीड ओनली है। राज को, मुझे राज का अगर एक्सेस की सीक्रेट एक्सेस की यूज करना है तो मुझे क्या देना पड़ेगा राज को?
एडमिन एक्सेस और फुल एक्सेस।
IAM फुल एक्सेस, ठीक है। कॉपी, नेक्स्ट, असाइन परमिशन, ठीक है। सिक्योरिटी क्रेडेंशियल्स में गया और यहाँ जाके एक्सेस की जनरेट कर लेगा। ये एक्सेस की मिल गया, ये एक्सेस की उठा के मैंने यहाँ डाल दिया, सीक्रेट एक्सेस की यहाँ डाल दिया, ठीक है। ये पूछेगा रीजन, वो अब लिखना पड़ेगा AP-South-1 और आउटपुट जेसन। अब इसके बाद मैं STS गेट कॉलर आइडेंटिटी करूंगा तो ये बताएगा किस 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 यूजर का आइडेंटिटी यूज हो रहा है। और उसके बाद मैं अगर यहाँ पे कमांड रन करूँ AWS हेलो वर्ल्ड 11 तो इट विल क्रिएट, ठीक है। अब यहाँ पर AWS कॉन्फ़िगर लिस्ट करता हूँ तो ये क्या बता रहा है कि शेयर्ड क्रेडेंशियल यूज हो रहा है, ठीक है। इसको अपन रीड कर सकते हैं कौन सा एक्सेस की यूज हो रहा है यहाँ से, कुछ इस तरीके से। और कैट करके ये सेम, बस सिर्फ CRED करेंगे, ये हो गया। नाउ अभी यूजर के पास क्या, यूजर अभी इंस्टेंस, अभी मैंने यहाँ पर क्या असाइन किया हुआ है? एक्सेस की, सीक्रेट एक्सेस की और IAM रोल।
रोल असाइन।
रोल असाइन किया,
Role.
ठीक
रोल
है।
असाइन किया।
नहीं, रोल कहाँ असाइन है? रोल असाइन रहता तो कैसा आउटपुट आता?
नहीं नहीं, ओके ओके। वो
IAM
राज का,
अभी क्या
राज
असाइन
का
किया?
आयम। हाँ।
तो अब इसके ऊपर एक क्वेश्चन आता है। क्वेश्चन ये आता है कि मान लीजिए अगर मैं रोल असाइन करता हूं तो ऐसा दिखेगा। इफ यू
हम्म
assign role it will be visible like this, ठीक है। एवरीवन कैन सी, राइट। सो
हम्म
अगर मैं रोल असाइन करता हूं, इफ आई एम असाइनिंग रोल, if I am assigning role, तो it will look like this. So if I am assigning a role, it will go give like this. If I am assigning access key and secret access key, it will give like this. Correct?
हम्म
Right.
तो नाउ अगर मैंने दोनों असाइन कर दिया तो क्या होगा? लेट्स गो हियर, लेट्स पुल द माइंड लिटिल बिट अप। यहाँ पर मेरा अभी एक्सेस की है। अब मैं जाता हूँ इंस्टेंस पे, क्या असाइन कर देता हूँ, इंस्टेंस पे मैं जा रहा हूँ और
Role.
हाँ, इंस्टेंस पे जाकर मैं रोल असाइन कर देता हूँ। तो हियर इज द इंस्टेंस, नाउ ऐड द रोल टू दिस गाय। सो सिक्योरिटी मॉडिफाई IAM रोल एंड, अब मैं यहाँ पे जाके ये वाला IAM रोल December 24 ऐड कर देता हूँ। ऐड कर दिया, ठीक है। अरे ये क्यों नहीं गया? Delete, delete। तो अगर मैं इसको रोल असाइन कर दिया हूं, अब मैं जाके देखता हूँ, पहले चेक कर लेता हूँ यहाँ पे रोल है कि नहीं। यहाँ पे दिख रहा है, इसको रिफ्रेश करके देख लेंगे चेंजेस को। कि चेंजेस रिफ्लेक्ट हो रहा है कि नहीं। यहाँ पे क्लिक करेंगे इस रेडियो बटन को, तो जिस वीएम का डिटेल देखना है उस वीएम का आप यहाँ पे सेलेक्ट कर लीजिए, उस वीएम का डिटेल यहाँ पे दिखा देगा। तो आई एम इंटरेस्टेड इन वॉचिंग दिस डिटेल ऑफ दिस वीएम, आई विल गो हियर एंड आई विल वॉच ए लुक। तो यहाँ पर हम आएंगे तो हमें क्या दिखेगा, रोल यहाँ पे एडेड है, ठीक है, रोल यहाँ पे लगा हुआ। नाउ आई विल गो टू द सिस्टम एंड आई विल डू दिस। तो रोल और एक्सेस की, सीक्रेट एक्सेस की दोनों लगा रहेगा तो इसी तरह का कंडीशन दिखेगा। अब मेरा क्वेश्चन ये है कि अगर मैंने एक यूजर बनाया तो ये जो यूजर बना वो कौन सा क्रेडेंशियल यूज कर रहा है, एक्सेस की, सीक्रेट एक्सेस की यूज कर रहा है या रोल का यूज कर रहा
तो दोनों यूज कर रहा है इसमें,
है? नहीं
एक्सेस
तो
की, सीक्रेट एक्सेस की।
एक्सेस की,
कैसे,
सीक्रेट एक्सेस की।
कैसे?
So that user ID belongs to user only, right? Not role.
नहीं
Hmm.
तो एक्चुअली क्या है कि जब हम एक्सेस की, सीक्रेट एक्सेस की मारते हैं ना तो वो एज ए इन्वायरमेंट वेरिएबल ले लेता है। तो रोल और इन्वायरमेंट वेरिएबल में अगर हम प्रेसिडेंस की बात करेंगे तो प्रेसिडेंस किसको मिलता है,
एनवायरमेंट वेरिएबल।
इन्वायरमेंट वेरिएबल को। तो अगर इंस्टेंस के ऊपर दोनों लगा हुआ है, एक्सेस की, सीक्रेट एक्सेस की एंड रोल, तो प्रेसिडेंस एक्सेस की, सीक्रेट एक्सेस की को मिलेगा। ओके, तो अभी जो यूजर क्रिएट हुआ, इट गॉट क्रिएटेड विद द क्रेडेंशियल्स यूजिंग द, ये वाला जो बना है वो किसके बना है, राज की आईडी से बना है, रोल से नहीं बना है, ये राज ने बनाया है।
Hmm.
समझ में ये बात?
Hmm.
ओके,
राइट।
अब दूसरा क्वेश्चन ये आता है, दूसरा क्वेश्चन ये आता है कि दूसरा क्वेश्चन ये आता है, यहाँ पर मैंने इन्वायरमेंट प्रिंट किया है तो कहीं ना कहीं वो दिखेगा कहाँ से ले रहा है। तो ये रूट ले रहा है, रूट के अंदर जो भी बैस आरसी प्रोफाइल होता है वो कॉल हो जाता है ऑटोमेटिकली, ठीक है। अब इसके बाद ये क्वेश्चन है कि आपको कौन सा सेफ लगता है, विच वन इज मोर सिक्योर, यूजिंग रोल और एक्सेस की, सीक्रेट एक्सेस की, दोनों में से सेफ कौन सा है? रूल,
रोल सेफ है।
रोल सेफ है कि एक्सेस की, सीक्रेट एक्सेस की है?
मुझे लगता है रोल ज्यादा सेफ है सिर्फ।
बाकी लोग?
I will go with role only.
सो आंसर इज करेक्ट, रोल सेफ है, बट उसका
रोल।
लॉजिक ये है कि एक्सेस की, सीक्रेट एक्सेस की इज ए काइंड ऑफ नेकेड पासवर्ड। तो AWS क्या कहती है कि अगर आप एक्सेस की, सीक्रेट एक्सेस की यूज करते हैं तो इट इज ए नेकेड पासवर्ड, इट कैन बी रीड बाय एनीवन हु एवर लॉग्स इनटू द सिस्टम। तो जिसको भी इस सिस्टम पे एक्सेस है उसको बाय डिफॉल्ट एक्सेस की, सीक्रेट एक्सेस की क्या हो जाएगा, मिल जाएगा, और वो
मिल जाएगा।
एक्सेस की, सीक्रेट एक्सेस की ऐसे रीड कर सकता है। बट इफ यू ऐड ए रोल, when you add a role, there is no access key and secret access key. Okay, so which one is secure?
Role one.
एडिंग अ रोल।
Adding a role is secure. Okay, adding a role is secure. So this is what is about IAM. IAM में हमें ये सारी चीजें जाननी है कि यूजर क्या है, ग्रुप्स क्या है, रोल्स क्या है। अब आपको पॉइंट, स्लाइड नंबर 21, ये जो प्रैक्टिकल अगर आप इसको परफॉर्म करेंगे तो आपका पूरा रिवाइज हो जाएगा। सो यू नीड टू डू द लैब ऑफ दिस। आप स्टेप बाय स्टेप डायग्राम लिखा हुआ है, इसको अगर आपने परफॉर्म कर लिया तो आपके IAM के सारे कॉन्सेप्ट जो है वो क्लियर हो जाएंगे। सो नाउ यू गॉट टू नो मोस्ट ऑफ द थिंग्स अबाउट IAM सर्विस। एंड इसके बाद जो है आपको ये लैब करना है, एंड जो लैब करेंगे, लैब करने से आपको पूरा जो कॉन्सेप्ट है वो क्लियर हो जाएगा। वंस यू डन विथ योर प्रैक्टिकल, ओके, एनीबडी वांट्स टू, कोई एनी क्वेश्चंस ओवर हियर?
Hey, Satyam, I have a couple of questions. Okay. The first one is, where will get this recording and these documents?
Recording you will get here in your portal.
Portal I am not able to see.
You
In
will,
Radical portal.
you talk to your counselor. They will give you
Ah,
access to this portal, and you will come here and you will have a recording. So yesterday
okay.
recording is there, and today it will be published post class.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay. And what about these slides? Will you share this slide
Slides
with us?
slide will be shared post full payment of the course fees. Okay, and I will get confirmation from them, and then only I will share the slides to the email IDs of yours, and that's what I have asked, email IDs for everyone.
Okay, yeah, I have done full payment because you refer right in lab somewhere to check the slide number 14, 15
Yeah,
sometimes.
yeah, yeah. So that's not a problem. So what I said is the process. So I'm not aware of that. So I will. So who does not does I'm not aware of. So
Okay.
basically, they will update. So I am mostly related. So once they will confirm, ki, okay, you can do that. So I can do that. That's not a problem. And this is what the steps are. So steps when I say ki refer the slide 14 and 15. So refer the slide 14 is basically this and 15. So you will get this information. Okay. So I
One,
hope you
one
have
more question.
understood. Yes.
One more
Everyone.
question. Sorry.
Yes, Aviraj,
Sorry.
boliye.
Go ahead. Go ahead. You complete yourself.
No, no. So I was saying ki, did you manage to understand this much, everyone?
Yes.
Okay. So
Yes.
a quick revise what we have done for the day. Okay. So what we have done for the day, we will do a quick revise. Okay. So we started the day with the recap of yesterday. Okay. We spent some time doing the recap of yesterday. After that, we explained you that some of the services are region specific, some of the services are global. What does global means? So if any service is global, it means that will be visible across any region, and region specific service means if you are creating a server in that particular region, it will be in that particular region. Slowly and gradually, when you come across multiple services going forward, you will get to know which service is region specific and which service is global. I have shown you some of the examples, like VPC is a region specific service. VPC is a region specific service. Okay. And if you talk about database, so database is also region specific service. Okay. There is another service called as DNS or Route 53. So Route 53 is basically a kind of global service. So Route 53 is a kind of global service. So slowly we will understand this. Not a much. This there is nothing much hurry about that. Okay. After this, what we have explained, we explained you that we can attach multiple policy document to a user group and role. Okay. We explained the IAM user can work graphically or command line. If a user wants to work from graphical, he need URL, username and password. If he wants command line, he need to have access key and secret access key. In our Windows operating system, we have command prompt, but in command prompt, there is no AWS CLI install. We need to install AWS CLI to run our commands. Once you install AWS CLI, configure the access key and secret access key so that you can run the AWS commands from Windows. But don't uh, don't practice it from Windows. Better to create a Linux VM, configure access key and secret access key over there, and run the command from there. Okay. Now, multiple policy documents can be attached to a group. When it comes to a role is a temporary privilege unless until the role is attached till the time you have access. If you remove the role, access is gone. So when I say role, what comes in your mind is a temporary access. So you can assign a role to a user, IAM user, where a user can assume a role. User can assume a role, and you can assign the role to a instance, and the instance will get access to the AWS. The type of access this instance will get depend upon type of policy document attached to the role. So you get a role, attach a policy, and attach that role to an instance. In the next, what I have shown you is key you need to have multi-factor authentication enabled. So this is a mandatory part. AWS will not let you log into your AWS console without multi-factor authentication enabled. Okay. You can create a user, get a access key and secret access key per user to access secret access key. Configure it this way, it will work. Get a role, attach the role, this way it will work. Out of both the ways, role is a secure, and when if both the things are configured, environment variables will get a precedence. Okay. Yeah. So that is what we have spoken about, and there are few of the best practices that we have seen. So please take a look and go through the recording and make your note, complete the AWS assignment part. I have shown you practically. Now it's your turn to do it via hands-on. Okay, cool. In the next session, we will talk about another service. We will talk about a service that is called as S3. We will talk about a service called as S3, and a full form of this particular service is simple storage service. Simple storage service, and this particular service gives you unlimited storage. This particular service gives you unlimited storage. You can store unlimited amount of data. And if we talk about free tier, तो you can store up to 5 GB. 5 GB तक store करेंगे तो free है. Post 5 GB you will be chargeable. We will learn about more this particular service, and just to help you understand, this is the very first service of AWS. अगर AWS ने सबसे पहले कोई सर्विस लेके आया था, तो that was AWS S3, and this was launched in the year 2006. तो AWS की जो सबसे पहली सर्विस है वो ये है, और AWS की जो दूसरी सर्विस है वो है EC2, जो कि 2006 में ही आई थी. This came in March 2006, and this came in July 2006. So officially, the very first service of AWS is AWS S3, guys. Okay. In the next session, we will discover this particular service. Okay. Thank you. If anybody have any question, please put in the group chat whatever you practice. Create a document, update the document in the group chat. Okay. Any error, in case of any error, take a screenshot, put in the group chat. Okay. Thank you.
Satyam, last question. Sorry to interrupt. If you
Yeah.
have time.
Yeah, no
Okay.
problem.
So when you created EC2 instance and you tried to log in via command line, right? Via putty, you copied the IP address and then you use one of the keys, right? How we can get that keys? Like keys like that is a password, right?
So, okay. So, did you went to the day one wala recording?
Day one, no, I didn't. I think I didn't join day one. Okay.
Okay, so there was a recording. One sec. I will explain, but what I'm trying to say here is कि Google Drive वाला कहाँ गया? Where is the Google Drive? One sec. Huh?
Hmm.
So this is your day one class, which is not uploaded in the portal. That is not uploaded in the portal. I will ask the counselor to upload this, but
Mm-hmm.
here I have shown how to create an instance and how to create that key. But still, if you want, I can show it to you. Okay, let's go
No,
here.
no, 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 not required. Actually, I will watch the video. I mean, I don't want to hold your time.
No,
Let
no,
me
no,
watch. If
it's okay. So I will just give a brief little bit about that. So the class is open for questions. The more you will ask, the more you will get. Okay. So don't feel that I can teach better when you ask questions. Just to tell you very frankly.
I understand. Thanks. Yeah.
So what happen is ki when you create a virtual machine, we call it virtual machine, and a virtual machine is created using a service called EC2. So we got this virtual machine, and this virtual machine has a Linux OS in it. Okay, virtual machine has a Linux OS. So whenever you create a virtual machine, you will get a public IP. You will get a public IP, and you will get a private IP as well. You will get a public IP and you will get a private IP. Every virtual machine has a data, it will get a hard disk as well. So they will give a hard disk as well of 8 GB where data is stored. So let's talk about your laptop. Your laptop is also having a hard disk, right? Your
Mm.
laptop also have a hard disk. So
Yeah.
in the similar way, when you create a server, when you create a virtual machine in AWS, you will get a virtual hard disk as well. So there is something called as virtual hard disk. Virtual hard disk. This virtual hard disk is of 8 GB in size. This virtual hard disk is of 8 GB in size. Now, you are a user, you are sitting here. You are a user, you have a laptop, you are sitting over here. So this is a remote server. We call it remote. Why we are calling it remote? This is remote Linux server. Okay, so why it is remote? Because it is far. We cannot touch it. That is why it is remote, and that is why we are calling it remote. So if you want to connect to a remote Linux server, if you want to connect to a remote Linux server, you need to have a SSH client. You need to
Mm.
have a SSH client present in your system. And Putty is basically a SSH client. Putty is a SSH client. This is Putty. So this is a server and this is a client. So this is me and this is you. So for communicating, we are using English as a language, right? Now, this machine and this machine, they both want to connect. So they will use SSH protocol. They will use SSH protocol. These two machines will use SSH protocol for connecting and having a secure communication. So to have SSH protocol. So both machine will follow SSH protocol, and SSH means secure cell. Secure cell. It means whatever communication will happen securely. The one who basically seeking a request, the one who is basically making a request to connect will be called as client. The one who is making the request is will be called as client. The one who is going to answer your request will be called as server. So this is SSH client and this is SSH server. So now you acting as a SSH client, you are trying to connect to a server which acting as a SSH server. So you are using SSH. So now the communication will happen between SSH client and SSH server. So in order to connect to this server, you need to put the public IP of the server. You need to put the public IP of the server, and you need to put a private key. You need to put the private key, because in order to log into any Amazon instance or in Amazon server, username and password is generally people use. Username and password people use to log into
Mm.
a server, right?
Mm.
But
Mm.
AWS says ki don't use username and password. AWS says ki we will use PKI. PKI is means it means public. It is called as PKI infrastructure, public and private key infrastructure. So basically, AWS says कि we will use public key and private key. We will use public key and private key. Public key and private key. So public key is stored over here. Public key is stored over here. Private key you will have private key. When you will give the public IP private key, it will initiate a connection. It will initiate a connection on the port number 22. So port number is used is 22. So it will go here and make the connection, and then you will receive the request. So SSH client and SS server, they will talk. Now, before you reach to this server, there is something called as security group, or that is called firewall. So there is something called as firewall. So in firewall, if your IP is only whitelisted, if let's suppose you are sitting here and you have IP 2.2.2.2. So if your IP is allowed in this firewall, firewall is nothing, it is called as security group in AWS. So if your IP is allowed, then only your request will go to the server. Otherwise, your request will drop over here. Okay. So this is the complete process, how you basically, and whatever data you write, that data will be stored in this particular hard disk.
Understood.
Okay. So when you go to, don't worry, I have another video where I have how to create a Linux VM. I will give that as well. You can take a look to that. There I have explained also in detail how to create a Amazon Linux VM, and there you will get to know.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, cool. Anything else from anyone?
Yeah, one question from mine. It's related to Linux actually. So I tried out Linux command on Mac as well, and I think I had read somewhere that Unix, Linux, and Mac basically have pretty similar kind of architecture. So can you just give a small brief about it? I mean, can you just help me understand that part?
So okay. So what we are talking here, what we are talking about here is we are talking about something called as operating system. We are talking about operating system. Generally, how I understand operating system is generally one operating system which will be used by so many people, and there is one more operating system which is used by lesser people. So basically, I divide the operating system into two categories. One is called as server operating system, and then I divide the operating system into this category called as client operating system. This server operating system is further divided into three parts. So one is basically called as RHEL. RHEL. This is called as your Red Hat Enterprise Linux. This is called as Red Hat Enterprise Linux. Enterprise Linux. Then we have something called as this is something you might have heard like this. So you must have heard about Linux, right? So when we say Linux, Linux means what? So Linux is a operating system, and the Linux which RHEL. So the Linux which most of the people knows is RHEL. Okay, it is called as Red Hat Enterprise Linux. Red Hat Enterprise Linux. There is something called as Unix. So when you talk about Unix bhi suna hoga. Unix is further divided into three. There are three major flavor of Unix available. One is HP UX, Harold Packard UX. Then there is something called as IBM AIX, and then there is something called as Oracle Solaris. Oracle Solaris. So right now, Unix is mostly deprecated and almost going out of the trend. So right now, none of the companies are using Unix server. Very less people will be using Unix, and you will see Unix operating system being used in IBM or a service-based company, and somewhere, very old-fashioned technologies you will see. Modern day infrastructure, if we talk about modern day infrastructure don't use Unix operating system. Now, Linux is one of the operating system which is used worldwide, and I believe 90 to 85% of all the critical business runs on Linux operating system. When it comes to Unix, take this as only 5% of the world workload runs on Unix. And then we have something called as Windows. So there is something called as Windows Server as well, Windows Server 2019 something. And these Windows servers are mostly used by companies to create Active Directory and DNS service within the companies. So this is also not used mostly, but you can take 10% of the stake as well. Now, I divide server operating system into three categories: Linux server operating system, Unix server operating system, Windows server operating system. Now, client operating system, I also divide into three categories. One is also called as Linux. Okay. Then we have something called as Unix. One is also called as Linux. And then we have something called as Windows. And then we have something called as Mac. Okay, Mac. So Mac OS, we call it. Now, why I'm saying client? Because when you see most of the population is using Windows 10, Windows 2010, most of the population are using Windows 2011. They used to have XP, Vista. These are the operating system which are used by most of the people. Now, there are certain Linux operating systems are there. There are certain Linux operating systems are there which are also used by common people like Ubuntu. You might have heard of Ubuntu. You might have sometimes heard of CentOS. Okay, you might have heard of sometimes Fedora. So these are what? These are basically the flavor of, these are the different variant of Linux operating system. Now there is something called Mac OS. Now let's come to here. Somebody has created Linux operating system long back. Somebody has created Linux operating system long back. Okay. Now, and the code is available on the internet because it is called as open source. So basically, who created Linux? Any idea?
Linus Torvald.
Yes, very correct. So Sir Linus Torvald basically created Linux, and once Sir Linus Torvald has created Linux, okay, he said that Linux is open source. Anyone can download it. Anyone can download it, and anyone can modify it for learning and an educational purpose, and anyone can download it, modify it, and can create their own flavor. Okay, anyone can download and modify. Now, what Red Hat has done, Red Hat is a company, right? What Red Hat has done, they have downloaded this Linux and they modified it and they sell this as RHEL. So this Linux is free. This Linux is free, but if you are going to take RHEL, you have to purchase, you have to pay money to RHEL, you have to make RHEL. So you have to pay money to Red Hat for this particular operating system because they are providing support to it. Say how to buy, right? If you want to buy, you can go and buy this operating system. So this is the original was Linux, open source was Linux. And similarly, lot of players are there. What they have done, they have downloaded this, they have modified it, and they have downloaded it and they have modified it and they have created their own flavor of Linux. So CentOS is nothing. CentOS is also a flavor of Linux. It is just a modified version of original Linux. Ubuntu is also a modified version of this. Ubuntu, CentOS, Mandriva, ठीक है, Mandriva. Then you have Fedora. Then there is something called as Kali Linux. Then there is again operating system which is used in most of the Europe, SUSE. And somehow Mac is also originated from this particular place. And there are 50 plus Linux flavor. There are 50 plus Linux flavor available right now. And trust me, nobody knows the name as well. Okay, so let me pull out the names. So flavor, FLAVORS, flavors of Linux. So when you search a Google, this comes like Linux flavor. So this Linux flavor comes Ubuntu, Debian, Fedora, Arch Linux, SUSE, Mint, okay, and these all, okay. Now, Parrot OS, Tails, Raspberry Pi, these all are, okay. So यहाँ पर Mac OS and Linux share the same similarity and have distinct differences in depth comparison में अगर बात करते हैं तो ये says कि both Mac and Linux are Unix-like operating system. Mac OS is derived from BSD, that is Unix derivative, and uses XNU kernel. Linux is also a Unix-like operating system, and they both have same file system. Most of the commands are also common in Mac and Linux, as I told you. So we are talking about 20-25 year of history. We are talking about not today, we are talking about जो ये देखिए लिनक्स का लाइसेंस क्या है, ओपन सोर्स है, और मैक ओएस इज नॉट ओपन सोर्स, बट दे आर टेकिंग द कोड फ्रॉम हियर ओनली एंड दे आर मॉडिफाइंग इट. They are taking the code from here and they are modifying it and they are selling as their own product. तो ये चीजें आज की नहीं है, मीन्स 20 साल पहले 25 साल पहले की बात है. I started learning Linux in the year 2009. So in the year 2009, I got introduced to Linux, or mostly in the year 2008. 2008, I started learning Linux, and my Linux certification is of 2010. In 2010, I have done my RSE, that is Red Hat Certified Engineer. This exam is kind of hands-on exam, and this exam was one of the toughest exam in IT that particular moment, because for passing RSE, you have to pass two exams. You have to pass RSC, Red Hat Certified System Administrator, and then you have to pass RHCE exam. So you have to pass this exam and you have to pass this exam. Then only you become RSCE. So all these are originated from this, and in one short line, we can say कि Mac OS is basically a flavor of Linux only and it has a very past history. Making sense?
Yeah.
Cool. Any other questions from anyone? Cool. So there are a lot of flavors of Linux, so and trust me, because why I'm saying here is we basically talk about right now. I have experiences into data centers. I have experience with the legacy system, so I can understand all the legacy system. We have worked on legacy system, so we have idea of legacy system. But trust me, the question arises here is ki before AWS, how IT industry was working. So before AWS is giving you services, ki okay, come and create a server. If you want to create a server, come here and create here. Okay, create a server like this. But imagine a situation when AWS was not there. What is the technology used to create the server? How we were creating the servers?
Yeah, VMware.
And right now, I just told you that there is a service in AWS which talks about unlimited storage. So before 2006, how we were storing unlimited amount of data? So this is what AWS is giving, right? So before AWS also people used to store the data, right? It's not like that
Yes.
before 2006. So before 2006, how people used to store the data? They used to store the data using NAS and SAN. NAS, network attached storage, SAN, storage area network. There are a lot of concepts around it, NAS and SAN. And for NAS and SAN, you might have heard of the companies called uh, EMC Square. EMC Square is now purchased by a company called EMC Square. वो किसने खरीदा? किसने खरीदा EMC Square को? Okay, there are companies called NetApp. So NetApp, Hitachi, NetApp, Hitachi, these are the companies brokered. These are the companies they used to create NAS and SAN devices. And trust me, if you go and ask most of the cloud engineers out there, nobody knows about this. So who have recently so what I mean to say ki freshers or people with 4 5 years of experience, they will never ever able to get to know ki what is NAS, what is SAN, what is EMC symmetric, what is EMC Clarion, what is Vmax, what is Vblock. So because you will be never taught these things, you will never come across these things because कहने का मतलब है जो लोग 10 12 साल पुराने हैं अभी आज के डेट से, the people who worked, those people who are 12 years old, in IT, they will have an idea of these things if they have worked on. बट जिनको 5 6 साल के एक्सपीरियंस है, 5 6 साल वाले तक के लोग इन चीजों के बारे में कभी नहीं जान पाएंगे बिकॉज नो बडी विल बी टीचिंग. सो आई एम टेलिंग यू बिकॉज आई नो दिस. Most of the trainer don't know this because what trainer teaches, they read from somewhere and they teach that. That's it. So EMC symmetric, search Google, try to get to know what is EMC symmetric, what is EMC Clarion, what is Vmax, what is Vblock. Then you will get to know ki how things were working before AWS coming into picture. So this is legacy infrastructure. This is called as old infrastructure. We call it legacy infrastructure, and this is called as modern day infrastructure. So modern day, what is the solution in modern day? If I have unlimited amount of data, if I want to store unlimited amount of data, the modern day solution tell us to use S3. But down the line, 10 years back, आज से 10 साल पहले तो यार 13 था, हाँ right. तो आज से 10 साल पहले AWS S3 was not there. People were not using AWS S3. AWS started in India in 2013. So 2013 से पहले there was very less talk of AWS in India market. Very less talks of India market. It was there, but it was there in US and Europe and all those places. So in India, things take time to come, and at last it comes in India. If you see the global picture, so things comes first in US, then it comes to Europe, and then it comes to India, and then it will go to other company, other places like Nepal or Myanmar or Sri Lanka, like this. So technologies flows like also upstream to downstream. With respect to that, one more thing that I want to say, let's suppose AWS has launched some new feature. AWS some launched some new service. The new service will be first, it will be available in North Virginia region of US, and then only it will come in all other regions slowly and gradually as per the demand. So which region of AWS has all the services available? The North Virginia is the answer. Okay, any questions from anyone?
No.
Any
Hello.
questions from anyone?
No.
Hello. Sir, it's Suraj.
Hello?
Hello. Sir, it's Suraj. Sir, my question is कि मुझे पाइथन लगाना था, क्लास ज्वाइन करना था, तो डेवॉप्स में बेसिक पाइथन क्लियर होता है क्या क्लास में?
नहीं नहीं, आप AWS से क्लास में हैं, आपको
हाँ सर।
क्या सीखना है?
सर मुझे आगे डेवॉप्स करना है।
हेलो, आई डिडंट गेट यू,
तो
कम अगेन।
सर मुझे पाइथन डेवॉप्स के लिए पाइथन क्लास लगाना था, तो डेवॉप्स के क्लास में कुछ बेसिक पाइथन का क्लियर होता है क्या पढ़ाने में?
You are no, you are a AWS student or not?
हाँ सर, सर आई एम एडब्ल्यूएस स्टूडेंट।
You are
नहीं,
AWS।
सत्यम सत्यम वो
हाँ,
क्या कहना चाह रहा है कि अभी वो सीख रहा है आर्किटेक्ट वाला, उसको डेवॉप्स करना है एडब्ल्यूएस में, बट उसको पाइथन भी करना है। तो वो पूछ रहा है कि डेवॉप्स में
तो
पाइथन का बेसिक आप लोग कवर करते हो क्या?
ओके। तो सूरज, आप ग्रुप में है ना, राइट? इस ग्रुप में है ना?
हाँ सर।
ओके, तो मैंने ये जब ये डेवॉप्स रोड मैप वाला वीडियो डाला था, तो डिडंट यू वॉच दैट रिकॉर्डिंग?
सर आई वॉच दिस वीडियो।
हाँ,
देखा है सर मैंने वो वीडियो।
तो ये वीडियोस अगर आपने देखा तो आपको पता चला होगा ना, मीन्स कि देखिए, मेरा क्या कहने का मतलब है, ठीक है, आप जो क्वेश्चन पूछना चाहते हैं मैं समझ गया, बट एक्चुअली आई वॉज नॉट फीलिंग टू आंसर दैट क्वेश्चन, बट मैं आपको बता देता हूँ, बिकॉज कहने का मतलब है, देखिए, AWS एक अलग चीज है, इसका अलग सिलेबस है।
हाँ
डेवॉप्स
सर।
एक अलग टॉपिक है, इसका एक अलग सिलेबस है।
यस सर।
पाइथन एक अलग सिलेबस है, और ये अलग टाइम लेता है। डेवॉप्स
हाँ
में
सर।
जितना टॉपिक है, उतना ही टॉपिक
हम्म।
पढ़ाने में 30 क्लास लग जाते हैं, और आप
हम्म।
पूरा डेवॉप्स क्लास आएगी भी नहीं, ठीक है?
हम्म।
तो मैं यहाँ पे भी मैं स्टिल आई एम टेलिंग वेरी ट्रू एंड इन ओपन एंड इन रिकॉर्डिंग टू एवरीवन, कि आप पूरा AWS से क्लास भी अटेंड नहीं करेंगे मेरा। क्यों? क्योंकि बैच ज्वाइन करना तो इजी है, बट क्या आप उतना पढ़ सकते हैं? दिस इज द क्वेश्चन ऑफ माइंड, आर यू केपेबल ऑफ स्टडिंग दैट मच? तो पहले तो वो छोड़ दो, पहले तो मेरा AWS का क्लास विदाउट एब्सेंट अटेंड करके दिखाओ। पहले तो तुम AWS ही पढ़ लो, एंड दिस इज फॉर एवरीवन, नो मैटर्स व्हाट हु
ओके
इज
ओके
हु।
सर।
हाँ, सो आप पहले AWS ही पढ़ लीजिए, और उसके बाद हिम्मत बचेगी तो डेवॉप्स पढ़ने आइए। और अगर आप डेवॉप्स भी पढ़
हाँ सर।
लेते तो, हाँ, तो फिर, और स्ट्रेट टू द आंसर क्वेश्चन है कि नहीं, डेवॉप्स के सिलेबस में इतना टाइम नहीं है कि हम आपको पाइथन का बेसिक्स भी बता दें। और अगर कोई बोलता
अच्छा,
है
ओके।
कि हम पाइथन भी बता देंगे, हम एज्योर भी बता देंगे, हम ये भी बता देंगे, तो इसका मतलब ये है कि फिर या तो वो डेवॉप्स नहीं पढ़ाएगा, या तो फिर छोड़ छोड़ के पढ़ाएगा, या तो उड़ा के पढ़ाएगा।
नहीं सर, मेरे जो रेडिकल के काउंसिलर है, उनसे बात हो गई थी मेरी, तो उन्होंने बताया कि सत्यम सर पढ़ाते हैं डेवऑप्स में, पाइथन का बेसिक क्लियर करते हैं, इसलिए मैंने पूछा था आपको क्वेश्चन।
देखो सूरज, ठीक है, तुम क्या कहते हैं कि मैं क्या बोल रहा हूँ, काउंसलर्स को कुछ भी नहीं पता होता है, ठीक है, डोंट गो विद द
हाँ सर।
काउंसलर्स, ठीक है। काउंसलर्स जो
हम्म।
हैं दे आर नॉर्मल पीपल, दे डोंट नो एनीथिंग टेक्निकल, दे ओनली नो एडब्ल्यूएस वर्ड, दे ओनली नो एडब्ल्यूएस, उनको सिर्फ
हम्म।
एडब्ल्यूएस वर्ड पता है, बस इसके आगे पीछे कुछ नहीं पता है। दे ओनली नो द वर्ड डेवॉप्स, इसके आगे पीछे उनको कुछ नहीं पता होता है। दे ओनली नो द वर्ड पाइथन, इनके आगे पीछे, और दे ओनली नो द वर्ड डेटा साइंस, इसके आगे पीछे का उनको पता नहीं होता। डेवॉप्स में हम डेवॉप्स पढ़ाते हैं, डेवॉप्स के सिलेबस में पाइथन कवर नहीं होता। पाइथन जो है वो आपको अलग से पढ़ना पड़ेगा। और
हाँ सर।
पाइथन, हाँ, और पाइथन ऐसा नहीं कि हमने एक प्रोग्राम कर लिया और मेरा पाइथन हो गया। पाइथन का पूरा
हम्म।
सिलेबस है, और पाइथन का पूरा सिलेबस हमें पढ़ना पड़ेगा। जैसे आप स्टार्ट कर सकते हैं, आप अपने लेवल पे भी पढ़ाई स्टार्ट कर सकते हो और मेरे से हेल्प ले सकते हैं, ठीक है, कि मैं क्या क्या पढूं। जैसे सबसे पहले आप पाइथन में पढ़ना स्टार्ट कर सकते हैं कि पाइथन में वेरिएबल क्या है, व्हाट इज वेरिएबल्स। उसके बाद आप पाइथन में पढ़ना स्टार्ट कर सकते हो व्हाट इज डेटा टाइप्स। तो पाइथन में वेरिएबल्स क्या क्या होते हैं, तो वेरिएबल्स तीन तरह के होते हैं। एक होता है आपका ग्लोबल वेरिएबल। ग्लोबल वेरिएबल क्या हो गया, एक हो गया आपका लोकल वेरिएबल, ठीक है। उसके बाद हो गया डेटा टाइप्स, पाइथन में कौन कौन से डेटा टाइप्स हैं, ठीक है। उसके बाद आ गया आपका पाइथन में रिजर्व कीवर्ड्स क्या क्या है, पाइथन में रिजर्व कीवर्ड्स क्या क्या है। पाइथन में इनबिल्ट फंक्शन क्या क्या है, व्हाट आर द इनबिल्ट फंक्शंस अवेलेबल इन द पाइथन। उसके बाद आप डिफरेंस पढ़िए कि लिस्ट क्या है, टपल्स क्या है, डिक्शनरी क्या है, मैप क्या है, ठीक है, इनमें डिफरेंसेस पढ़िए। इसके बाद जब आप आ गए तो आप देखिए हाउ टू क्रिएट ए फंक्शन, हाउ टू क्रिएट ए फंक्शन। तो बेसिकली डेवॉप्स का सिलेबस काफ़ी बड़ा है, और मेरा जो डेवॉप्स का सिलेबस है वो, उसमें बहुत सारी चीज़ें डेवॉप्स रिलेटेड ऐड है, तो हमें पाइथन के लिए टाइम नहीं मिलता। तो टू बी वेरी फेयर, हम डेवॉप्स के सिलेबस में पाइथन नहीं पढ़ाते। हाँ, अगर आपको कुछ हेल्प चाहिए तो आप क्वेश्चन पूछ सकते हैं, मैं आपको गाइड कर सकता हूँ कि हाँ इस तरीके से पढ़ो। लेकिन पाइथन एक अलग सिलेबस है, और मैं रेडिकल में पाइथन नहीं पढ़ाता। मैं AWS भी बहुत दिन के बाद बता रहा हूँ, मैं AWS का बैच नहीं लेता, ठीक है, बट मैं बहुत दिन के बाद AWS का बैच ले रहा हूँ। मैं AWS पढ़ाता हूँ, मैं डेवॉप्स पढ़ाता हूँ, और मैं MLOps पढ़ाता हूँ, ठीक है। तो AWS, डेवॉप्स और MLOps में बताता हूँ। MLOps सीखने के लिए और डेवॉप्स सीखने के लिए थोड़ा पाइथन की ज़रूरत होती है। तो आगे जो फ्यूचर होने वाला है, जो लोग मुझे सुन पा रहे हैं, तो आगे चल के आपको AWS तो सीखना ही सीखना है, साथ में डेवॉप्स भी सीखना है, साथ में MLOps भी सीखना है, और इसके बाद पाइथन भी सीखना होगा, अगर जॉब बचानी है और 55 साल निकालने हैं तो। नहीं तो बहुत मुश्किल है। सो I am 36। अगर मैं IT में ज़्यादा नहीं 50 साल का ही कैरियर देखता हूँ, मुझे तो नहीं लगता कि मैं 55 भी निकाल पाऊंगा। जिस हिसाब से IT ग्रो कर रहा है, जिस हिसाब से टेक्नोलॉजीज आ रही हैं, डोंट थिंक कि अ, आप 55 और 60 साल निकाल पाएंगे। अगर मैं 50 भी पकड़ता हूँ तो मेरे को 14 साल है। 50 नहीं, अगर 55 भी पकड़ता हूँ तो मेरे पास 19 साल है। ये 19 साल निकालने के लिए बहुत मेहनत करना पड़ेगा। डोंट टेक इट लाइटली। आई एम टेलिंग टू
यस सर।
आई एम टेलिंग टू एवरीवन, डोंट टेक इट लाइटली। जिस हिसाब से टेक्नोलॉजीज ग्रो कर रही हैं, ये AI ML और ये वो आ रहा है, इससे हमें ज्यादा कुछ पढ़ना पड़ेगा, और जॉब बचाने के लिए वी नीड टू बी मल्टीपल स्किल्ड, मल्टी स्किल्ड होना पड़ेगा, अगर
तो
हमारे
सत्यम
फील्ड की।
ये सॉरी, ये ML ऑप्स क्या, मशीन लर्निंग ऑप्स है क्या?
यस, MLOps इज मशीन लर्निंग ऑपरेशंस। तो मशीन लर्निंग MLOps में पढ़ने के लिए बहुत सारी चीज़ें चाहिए। इसमें आपको डेटा साइंस का नॉलेज चाहिए, और मशीन
हम्म।
लर्निंग का नॉलेज चाहिए, मशीन लर्निंग का नॉलेज चाहिए, और डेवॉप्स का नॉलेज चाहिए। और डेवॉप्स सीखने के लिए आपको डेवॉप्स के अंदर AWS होना चाहिए, AWS या क्लाउड होना चाहिए। तो बेसिकली कुछ इस तरीके का इसका पोर्टफोलियो है। MLOps के लिए डेटा साइंस, मशीन लर्निंग और डेवॉप्स आना चाहिए, तब जाके MLOps सीख सकते हैं, और पाइथन भी लगेगा। तो
हाँ
चीजें
सर,
आ रही।
यही मुझे
ये
क्लियर करना था कि सर एक्चुअल वो वर्क कैसे करता है,
क्या
स्टेप
वर्क
बाय
करते?
स्टेप। सर ये इसका प्रोसेस क्या है, जैसे डेवऑप्स पाइथन ये जरूरी है ना, तो इसलिए मुझे क्लियर करना था। अभी क्लियर हो गया है सर।
अच्छा चलो, तुम्हारे तुम्हारे नहीं क्लियर तो मैं थोड़ा सा और हेल्प कर देता हूँ क्लियर करने के लिए। चलो थोड़ा सा मैं और हेल्प कर देता हूँ क्लियर करने के लिए। देखो, मेरी बातें ध्यान से सुन लीजिए। जो मैं बता रहा हूँ ये एक शब्द भी गलत नहीं होगा, ठीक है? और चीजें लाइटली लेना बंद कीजिए, ठीक है? और हम सोचते रहेंगे आज लगाएंगे, कल क्लास लगाएंगे, परसों लगाएंगे। ऑलरेडी आप 4-6 महीने से सोच रहे क्लास लगाएंगे। आप अगर मैं बताऊं तो मैंने AWS कब पढ़ा था, तो मैंने AWS 2016 में पढ़ा था, और मैंने AWS का सर्टिफिकेशन 2017 में किया था, ठीक है? अगर मैं बताऊं तो मेरा 13 साल का एक्सपीरियंस है, ठीक है? 13 ईयर्स का एक्सपीरियंस है मेरा। और अगर इस हिसाब से देखते हैं, 2017 से ही काउंट करते हैं, तो 2024 खत्म हो गया, 2025 आ रहा है। तो 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, ठीक है? तो 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8 साल मुझे हो गए AWS स्टार्ट करके। आज आप स्टार्ट कर रहे हैं, ठीक है? मैं ऐसा नहीं बोल रहा हूँ, मेरा सर्टिफिकेशन है 2017 का, मैं दिखा सकता हूँ, ठीक है? तो द थिंग इज कि वी हैव टू बी फास्ट, ओके? और ये मत सोचिए, दिस इज फॉर एवरीवन, कि यार मुझे ये पाइथन है, मुझे डर लगता है, मुझे नहीं आता है, मुझे डेवॉप्स। बहुत लोग ऐसा क्वेश्चन पूछते हैं, सर AWS पढ़ ले, डेवॉप्स नहीं पढ़ेंगे चलेगा? AWS में इंटरव्यू, भाई तुम्हें जो करना है करो, तुम अपना टाइम बर्बाद कर रहे हो। तुम नहीं पढ़ोगे तो इसका मतलब ये नहीं है कि कोई दूसरा नहीं पढ़ेगा। तो इन शॉर्ट, आपको सब कुछ आना चाहिए। बहुत सिंपल सा आंसर यही है, ठीक है? बहुत सिंपल सा आंसर है कि लॉन्ग टर्म में चलना है, पैसे बढ़ाने हैं, तो सब कुछ पढ़ना पड़ेगा। जिसको नहीं आता उसको कोई जॉब नहीं देगा, जिसको आएगा उसी को जॉब मिलेगा। इफ यू आर नॉट कैपेबल, अगर आपको टेक्नोलॉजीज नहीं आती तो आपको क्यों कोई जॉब देगा? आप यू आर नॉट स्पेशल ना, कि ओके मैंने AWS कर लिया, मैंने बहुत तीर मार लिया, मेरे को डेवऑप्स नहीं आता। अरे ये कौन सा क्वेश्चन है? व्हाई यू आर आस्किंग दिस काइंड ऑफ क्वेश्चंस? आई डोंट इवन अंडरस्टैंड। सो दिस इज देयर इज नो पॉइंट इन आस्किंग दिस काइंड ऑफ क्वेश्चंस। आप देखो दुनिया कहाँ जा रही है, सी द वर्ल्ड इज गोइंग वेयर। ओके, तो हम रील्स में लगे रहते हैं, पूरा दिन भर रील्स देखते, तो हमें क्या होगा? मीन्स वी आर नॉट केयर। आप देख नहीं रहे, आप मेरे से 10 क्लास पढ़ेंगे, आपका दिमाग चेंज हो जाएगा। हो सकता है जिस तरह की बातें मैंने आपको आज बोल दी, इस तरह की बातें आपको कोई नहीं बोला होगा। चलिए देखिए, मैं आपको एकदम हिसाब दिखाता हूँ, कैलकुलेशन दिखाता हूँ। AWS पढ़ना है, अच्छे से पढ़ना है, एक्सपर्ट नॉलेज लेना है, लेकिन ये मार्केट में एनफ नहीं है। इसके बाद आपको डेवॉप्स पढ़ना होगा, और आपको जॉब जो है वो डेवॉप्स इंजीनियर के लेवल पे ही ढूंढना पड़ेगा। एक डेवॉप्स इंजीनियर वो है जिसके पास क्लाउड का नॉलेज है। ये AWS भी हो सकता है, एज्योर भी हो सकता है, और ये GCP भी हो सकता है। आपके 100% डेवॉप्स के नॉलेज में 40% मायने रखता है आपका क्लाउड, ठीक है? इसके बाद आपका आ जाता है क्यूबरनेटिस। जितनी जल्दी पढ़ लेंगे और जितना ज्यादा पढ़ेंगे उतना फायदा रखेगा। जितना लेट करेंगे, आप अपने आप को उतना रिस्क में डालेंगे, मेरा कुछ नहीं जाएगा। क्यूबरनेटिस, देन टेराफॉर्म 10%, ठीक है? इसके बाद CI/CD पाइपलाइन का नॉलेज, CI/CD पाइपलाइन का नॉलेज, CI/CD पाइपलाइन का नॉलेज जो है वो आपका 10% कंट्रीब्यूट करता है। इसके बाद जितने अदर डेवऑप्स टूल्स हैं, जितने अदर डेवऑप्स टूल्स हैं, जैसे जेंकिंस हो गया, डॉकर हो गया, प्रोमीथियस हो गया, ग्राफाना हो गया, वो सारे डेवऑप्स टूल जो है वो 10% का वेटेज रखते हैं। आपका बेसिक्स, बेसिक्स 10% रखता है। बेसिक्स में क्या? तो बेसिक्स में लिनक्स आना चाहिए, नेटवर्क आना चाहिए। आप अमेजोन का भी इंटरव्यू देने जाएंगे तो लिनक्स पूछेगा, नेटवर्क पूछेगा और डेटाबेस पूछेगा, सिक्योरिटी। तो ये बेसिक जो है ये आपका 10% रहेगा। इसके बाद आपका पाइथन जो है वो 10% रहेगा। पाइथन आपका 10% रहेगा। कितना परसेंट हो गया? और तो 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, तो ये हो गया 100%। अगर आप 100%, अगर आप 100 में से पाइथन को थोड़ा देर के लिए छोड़ भी देंगे तो आपका हो जाएगा 90%। तो अगर आप 90% भी नॉलेज रखते हैं, अगर आप 90% भी नॉलेज रखते हैं तो यू आर वेरी 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 गुड। तो जरूरी नहीं है डेवऑप्स के लिए पाइथन पढ़ा ही जाए। हाँ, अगर टारगेट है कि मुझे 50 लाख से ऊपर का CTC चाहिए, 50 लाख प्लस CTC चाहिए, तो भैया पाइथन भी आना पड़ेगा। क्योंकि कभी ऐसा हो ही नहीं सकता कि कोई बंदा आपको 35 लाख 40 लाख का पैकेज दे और आपको पाइथन ही ना आए। गेटिंग माई पॉइंट? तो आप पाइथन को टाइम बिंग के लिए छोड़ दीजिए, पहले क्लाउड और डेवॉप्स को कंप्लीट कीजिए। क्लाउड आपका 40% है और डेवॉप्स आपका 50% है। 40 और 50, ठीक है। और ये जो है आपका ये 10% है। तो 10% के पीछे मत भागिए, पहले आप ज्यादा गेन कीजिए। एग्जाम में कौन सा क्वेश्चन सॉल्व करते हैं, एक एक नंबर वाला या फिर बड़ा मार्क्स वाला?
बड़ा मार्क्स पहले सर।
तो पिक्चर आपके सामने है। अब आप ये सारी चीजें 1 महीने में कंप्लीट कीजिए, आप 2 महीने में कीजिए, 3 महीने में कीजिए, 4 महीने में कीजिए, 5 महीने में कीजिए, या मत कीजिए, आपके ऊपर है। मैं ऐसा ट्रेनर नहीं हूँ भैया कि तुम मेरे बैच में आ जाओ। तो ऐसा मुझे कुछ नहीं, मेरा इंटरेस्ट है इसलिए मैं पढ़ाता हूँ, ठीक है। मेरा इंटरेस्ट है इसलिए मैं पढ़ाता हूँ। मैं चाहता हूँ कि मेरे पढ़ाने से अगर किसी का फैमिली ठीक हो जाता है, इफ समबडी स्टार्ट अर्निंग मोर, किसी को जॉब लग जाता है, तो फॉर दैट पर्टिकुलर पर्पस आई टीच। मुझे ऐसा पढ़ाने की जरूरत नहीं है, मेरा सैलरी बहुत है, ठीक है। तो इधर उधर में ध्यान मत दीजिए, पढ़ाई में ध्यान दीजिए। और जैसा मैंने आपको हर बार बताया, मेन फोकस होना चाहिए कि हमारा स्ट्रैटेजिक स्टडी होनी चाहिए। क्या पढ़ना है क्या नहीं पढ़ना नोट डाउन कर लिए, और रैंडमली इधर उधर मत भागिए। क्योंकि अभी आप पाइथन पढ़ने जाएंगे, आपसे होगा नहीं, और आप उसमें भी टाइम बर्बाद कर देंगे। तो क्लाउड इजी है, सिंपल है। पहले क्लाउड सीखिए, डेवऑप्स सीखिए, टाइम बच जाता है। उसके बाद फिर पाइथन सीखिए। और कोई क्या बोलता है, वो बहुत सारी बातें बोलते हैं लोग, ठीक है। बहुत सारे ट्रेनर है, क्या बोलते हैं, हम ये भी सिखा देंगे, ये भी सिखा देंगे, ये भी सिखा देंगे। खुद को कुछ आता नहीं है, दूसरे को ही क्या सिखा देंगे, ठीक है। तो दिस इज द समरी। आई होप सूरज जी आप समझ गए होंगे। तो पाइथन पे भी दिमाग मत डालिए, पहले AWS सीखिए, डेवऑप्स सीखिए, उसके बाद पाइथन सीखिएगा। डेवऑप्स का सिलेबस काफी बड़ा है, और लोग नहीं आते, मैं तो बता रहा हूँ ना। ऐसा नहीं कि लोग आते, लोग उतना डाइजेस्ट करना भी है, हिम्मत चाहिए उतने पढ़ने के लिए। आप पढ़ने के लिए तैयार हैं?
यस सर।
गुड। तो यहाँ पर इसलिए मैं कह रहा हूँ, मेरा क्लास ऐसा नहीं है। मेरे क्लास में कैसे है भाई कि वी डील विद सीरियस स्टडीज, ठीक है। और ऐसे नहीं, इधर उधर बात नहीं करते। इसलिए आप किसी भी डेवऑप्स इंटरव्यू में जाएंगे, CI/CD पाइपलाइन पूछेगा ही पूछेगा, डेवऑप्स पूछे, टेराफॉर्म पूछेगा ही पूछेगा, कुबरनेटिस पूछेगा ही पूछेगा, क्लाउड पूछेगा ही पूछेगा। तो अगर हम ये सारी चीजों पे फोकस डालना है, ठीक है, पाइथन इज ऑप्शनल। अगर मैं 100 में से 90 नंबर भी लाऊंगा ना, तो मेरे पापा बहुत खुश होंगे। 100 में 100 लाने की जरूरत नहीं है, ठीक है ना। और ट्रेंड देखिए, आज एवरीवन इज टॉकिंग अबाउट मशीन लर्निंग, आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस। generative AI, LLM, large language module, NPL. So are we understanding these terms कि ये सब सारे terms क्या चल रहे हैं आज की इंडस्ट्री में? AI क्या है, machine learning क्या है, Gen AI क्या है? Can you give the definition of Gen AI? LLM क्या है, large language model क्या है, NPL क्या है, नेचुरल न्यूरल प्रोग्रामिंग लैंग्वेज पता है? तो ये सब चीजों के बारे में हमें डीप लर्निंग, ठीक है, डीप लर्निंग, तो आर वी गेटिंग आवरसेल्फ फैमिलियर विद दीज थिंग्स? ठीक है, सब लोग अपना अपना रिज्यूमे भेज दीजिएगा जरा 1-to-1 में, तो आई वांट टू सी द रिज्यूमे सो आई कैन अंडरस्टैंड अकॉर्डिंगली। ठीक है, तो दैट विल हेल्प मी टू अंडरस्टैंड योर बैकग्राउंड। सो किसी सबके पास रिज्यूमे होगा, राइट, वट एवर इट इज। ओके,
Okay.
कूल। सो प्रैक्टिस कीजिए, यू विल हैव द डॉक्यूमेंट। किसी का ईमेल आईडी नहीं है तो ग्रुप में ईमेल आईडी डाल दीजिए, डॉक्यूमेंट में भेज दूंगा। आई एम प्रैक्टिस कीजिए, नेक्स्ट क्लास में वी विल स्टडी। जो भी डाउट्स रहेगा प्लीज आस्क बिफोर द क्लास इन द ग्रुप चैट, ऑल द डाउट्स रिलेटेड टू आई एम। ठीक है, सारे नोट्स बनाइए, प्रैक्टिकल परफॉर्म कीजिए। ठीक है, चलिए, थैंक यू।
थैंक यू सर।
Yes, sir.
Thank you,
you.
sir. Thank you.
Thank you.